Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Technical Assistance Workshop on the ABCs of business, the key elements of a business plan. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. We're going to get started in a few moments. We're going to let people start coming on in, and we're going to actually get started at exactly 10:05. So feel free to use the chat to say hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put your business information in there. I want to thank you for joining us today. And we are also going to go live on Facebook. So if you are in Facebook, well, hold up. Maybe can I go live on Facebook? It looks like I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. Uh-oh. All right. So I guess that's not happening today. All right. So I'm going to get started in a few moments. Let me see if I can figure out this other feature. All right. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to get started in 3 minutes. Let everybody come on in. Good morning. Welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Small Business Technical Assistance Workshop. This is in partnership with Miami-Dade Business Navigator Program. We're funded by the SBA, creating this amazing community network of partners that are here to work and help your business grow. Uh, this event, we have one of our partners in our network, Prospero, on, and we're excited for them to bring that information to help you on your journey as an entrepreneur, growing in your business. This is a time to ask those questions, to take notes, and ask questions directly while you have people on here. So for those that are just coming in, make sure you put in your business. Remember, all these things are networking opportunities, even if they're online. We want to make sure you have people know who you are and what you do. You may have potential clients on this webinar, people that may watch. So make sure that you put your information in the chat so that people know who you are, what you do, and we can reach out to each other. So we're going to have 2 presentations and Q&A after. If you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat. Our technical assistance managers, a program manager for the Community Navigator Program, Gina Ortella, is on, and she is in the chat answering questions, being responsive to your needs. So feel free to do so. And we're going to get started in less than 1 minute. I want to thank you for joining us today. All right. So it is 10:05, and I would like to welcome everyone to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce and also the SBA Community Navigators. ABCs of business, the key elements of a business plan. This presentation is in partnership with the SBA. All across the nation, the United States of America Small Business Administration wanted to be responsive to the needs of small businesses in this trying to be post-pandemic environment. So they funded a few of us organizations to come together to build a network, Community Navigator Program, so that we can bring together different resource partners. The hub is at FIU, led by the FIU SBDC Center. We have an amazing team over there that really serves as a hub. And there are a few of us as spokes that provide the one-on-one assistance. What we like to focus on is to bring together this coalition of partners to focus on creating a strong local community navigator network to assist socially and economically disadvantaged businesses with consulting, mentoring, and training. What we like to specifically focus on are minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned, and also LGBTQ. Many of our partners are Ascendus, Branches, Prospera. We have the EDC Center of South Dade, Startup FIU, and the SPD Center at FIU. So the key thing about that is once you start working with one of us, you have the opportunity to work with all of us. And that's what this program is about. And we do these workshops so that we can continue to provide expert advice on topics that many of our businesses have challenges with. So today's topic with the ABCs of business, key elements of a business plan, we have two amazing presenters here with us. First up, we have Cassandra McLester. She is the CEO of Strategic Management Consulting, and also Angel Leon, who's a senior business consultant at Prospera. I want to bring them both up so they can wave at you and say hi. And then we're going to get started right into the presentations. So, hey, Cassandra, I see you out there. Hey, Angel.
Hello there. Thank you.
Awesome. So what we found is that a lot of our business owners are trying to access capital. And many times one of the fundamental things they need is a business plan to access capital. So we want to do this workshop so that you are very clear about that and also know about your operation, because your plan to access capital and your plan for day-to-day operations is a little different from each other and what is needed for you personally as a person to do what you need to do, and then also for others who want to invest and loan you money. So we're going to start off with Cassandra McLester. You want to come on up?
Hi, good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here today. I am absolutely thrilled to be part of this webinar, and I'm looking forward to this being impactful for all of us. Thank you so much, Matthew, for inviting us here.
Awesome, it's our pleasure. And Gina, we got Gina the whole
And
team.
Gina, oh, the amazing Gina. What would we do without Gina? She is absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much, Gina. All right, great. So we are gonna get started and jump into the ABCs of the business plan. Before we get started, I'm just gonna wait for Gina to get our presentation up, and then we're gonna jump right into it. As Matthew mentioned earlier, while we're waiting for that to come up, is any questions that you have throughout this presentation, please feel free to put those in the chat. We will have a Q&A section at the end of the presentation, so we can go through any questions that might be out there. And here we go. Great. So just to give you guys a little bit of a background, again, as Matthew mentioned, my name is Cassandra McLester. I'm with Strategic Management Consulting, and we provide consulting services to small and medium-sized businesses, whether they're for-profit or nonprofit. companies. Some of our services and really the focus of what we do includes operations management. Gina? Okay, so some of our services include our operations management, or strategic planning, and we also focus on financial reporting as it relates to the fundamentals of the financial statement and budgeting. So now that you have a little bit of understanding of what we are and who we are, we're going to jump into the meat of this webinar, the elements of a business plan. So before we actually go into the physical elements, we're going to talk about what a business plan is. Let's understand that. So a business plan is a written document of a business's goals and the strategies to achieve them. Great. A business plan is really important, whether you are starting up or you're established. A business needs a business plan. So why? Why should we even write a business plan? We're going to look at 4 main reasons. The first one is that it helps you to make critical decisions. A business is an endless exercise in decision making and crisis management. Sitting down and considering all the ramifications of your business, as well as thinking about the major components of your business, will help you set up your business for success. It helps you to define and focus on your business's ideas and strategies ahead of time. Also, going through the process of preparing your business plan will help you to identify any potential weaknesses. It will allow you to ask yourselves the very hard questions and make sure you take the time to come up with well-researched and insightful answers. It will also help you to determine if you have any gaps in your strategies and use that time to work out the kinks and fix those gaps. Also, it will help you to prove the viability of your business. Many businesses are created out of passion, and passion is a great motivator, but it's not a great proof point. Going through the process of writing your business plan is going to help you confirm that your grand idea makes good business sense. It takes your business from concept to reality. And finally, you're going to find that you are 2.5% more likely to get funded if you have a business plan. You can pitch your business description and concept to investors, but they want something they can bite into. They want to see a business plan in order to lend you money. So now that we've covered that, I want to talk to you. And before we get into elements, we're going to talk about 3 key rules when writing the business plan. The first one is keep it short and concise. You want your business plan to be read by somebody. Nobody's going to read a 50-page business plan. They don't have the time. They want to read it, get the meat of what you're saying, and move on. Also, you want to be able to adjust and change the business plan as your business grows. It is a very flexible document, so you want to be able to adjust the information in there. And if it's too long, you won't be able to. It becomes a hassle. Also, you want to know your audience. You want to write your business plan in a language your audience will understand. Keep the explanation of your products and services simple and direct. And thirdly, don't be intimidated. Majority of business owners are not business experts. You know the business that you're trying to do or that you have. So you're the expert in your business. So there's no need to be intimidated. We're going to jump right now into the elements and look at what those are that builds the business plan, right? Great. So there are 6 elements to the business plan. First, we have the executive summary, followed by the opportunity, the execution, company management summary, the financial plan, and the appendix. Now, you're going to find all of these 6 elements in every business plan. The executive summary will always be the first part of your business plan. However, this should be the last part of your business plan that you write. So we're going to take this process that we're talking through this morning as if we're writing that business plan. We're going to leave our executive summary to the very end. Why? Good question. The reason is the executive summary is just that. It's a summary of everything else in the business plan. So you want to have a good grasp of your opportunity, your execution, your company management summary, your financial plan in order to summarize that in the executive summary. So we're going to jump to element number 2, which is the opportunity. This section of the business plan is where the meat lives. This is where we dig in and we spell it all out. Here, the first part of your opportunity element, you want to talk about the problem worth solving and the solution for that problem that you're bringing. Defining the problem here is extremely critical for any business plan, and it's crucial to your business's success. If you cannot define the problem, you may not have a viable business. So you want to describe the problem that you're solving for your customers, how they're being solved today, and then describe how your product or service will also solve that problem. Secondly, you want to talk about your target market. Who are you selling to? You want to know your customer and have a rough estimate of how many they are and figure out, is it enough? You want to do some market research and analysis and select your target segment. This is the group of people to potentially sell to. You want to identify them. Are they growing? Then you want to break your market down into your total available market, everyone that you could sell to. Then you want to look at your serviced available market. This is the portion of everyone that you will specifically target. And then realistically look at your share of the market. What subset of that portion you will realistically reach within the first couple of years of business. And then the third section of this element is your competition. Every business has them. It is very important to illustrate how your offering is different or better. Investors want to know what advantages you have over your competition and how you plan to differentiate yourself. The next element is the execution. Before writing your plan, you must understand who you're marketing to. So the first part of our execution is the marketing and sales plan. Here you want to detail how you plan to reach your target segment. How do you plan to reach those customers that you want to sell to? You want to include pricing, advertising, promotions. If you're a product company, you want to talk about packaging, public relations, content management, social media, and any strategic alliances. Then you want to also talk about the operations of the business. How does the business work? The nuts and bolts of it. Only include what you need here. If you're a product company, you want to talk about the distribution. How will you get your product into the hands of your customers? Direct distribution, retail distribution, OEMs. If you're a service business, you want to skip this particular element, this particular part of this element. Then you want to talk about your milestones and metrics. Milestones are your major planned goals, or those that you have already achieved. And your metrics are your drivers for growth, for your model, for your business model, and your financial plan. Also, you want to talk about your key assumptions. These are going to make a difference in your business success or failure. If you have assumptions, your plan will set out to prove that these assumptions are correct. And here you can make the adjustments as needed if they're not. The next element is the company and team. This is a chapter of the business plan where you make your best case that you have the right team in place to execute your idea. Running a successful business means getting things done. There's an old adage, Investors invest in people, not in ideas. And it's true. Investors will look at a mediocre idea, but have an amazing team and invest in that versus a great idea and a mediocre team. You want to show that you have the right people in place to turn a good idea into a great business. So what does this look like? You want to talk about the important roles and responsibilities for success. You want to include a bio and highlight the relevant experiences of key members. Talk about your key members' industry in experience relating to the business that you're doing. Talk about whether any of the members have had entrepreneurial success in the past. The management team does not have to be complete. If there are gaps, just identify the roles and then state that you are looking for the right people for those positions. Now, when we talk about the company overview, which is the next section of this element, this is going to be the shortest section of your business plan. It includes your mission statement, which should just be a short 1 to 2 sentences, just explaining what you're trying to do. If you're a technology or scientific company, this is where you would talk about your intellectual properties, such as patents in the application process, technology license as well. You also want a review of the company's legal structure and ownership. Is it an LLC, an Inc., an S Corp? What does the ownership look like? What does the ownership look like? Is it a partnership? What percentage of it is owned by whom? You also want to talk about your business location. Describe the current location and all the other facilities owned by the business. Is it a storefront, manufacturing facility? Is it a warehouse? And if this is an existing business that you're writing this plan for, you want to include a brief history on the company. The next element would be your financials. I won't get into this. Angel's going to pick this up in a little bit later and dig into this for you. So we're going to go on to the 6th element, which is your appendix. Now, your appendix is if you have any additional information you want to include in your business plan, this is where we would do it. What would that look like? Maybe you have a product and you have pictures of your product that you want to show your investors or you want to include in your business plan. This is where you would do so. So now that we have had the body and the meat of the business plan here, we're going to go back and talk through what the executive summary, that first part of the business plan, looks like. The executive summary is very, very, very important. It introduces your business to the reader. It gives your whole picture, a quick picture of your business so that it interests them to continue to read. So it's very important that this is written with care. The first part of your executive summary is your problem. What is the problem you are trying to solve in the market? 2 simple sentences that captures that. The second part is the solution. This is your product or service. How is it solving the problem that you have identified? Next is your target market. Who is your ideal customer? And be specific. If you're a clothing store, I sell clothes to everyone with a body is not specific. You're looking at the type of style and the age group. So that clothing that you're selling. So be specific about your service and product. Remember, this is where you're introducing it to them. So be specific about this target market that you're attempting to solve the problem for. The next one is the competition. Every business has some form of competition, every business. It is important to give an overview of what that looks like for you. How is your target market solving their problem today, and what other alternatives there are out there? The company overview and team answers the question, why us? So you want to briefly explain why you and your team are the best people to take your idea to market. Remember, investors put a lot of weight on the team. They're going to need to evaluate risk, and oftentimes a management team with a lot of experience may lower perceived risks. Your financials are also going to get highlighted here. Here you want to highlight key aspects of that financial plan and plan sales, expenses, profitabilities that Angel is going to talk about in a little bit. Then the final area of your executive summary is your milestones. Here you want to include any progress that you have made so far if you're established, any progress you've made so far towards the milestones that you have set, or put in the plan the milestones that you are planning to achieve and the time frame in which you should do so. So now that we have looked at the elements of our business plan, I hope that was clear for everyone. And I'm going to now go ahead and turn that over to Angel.
Thank you very much, Cassandra, for taking the time to go through that. I hope everyone is writing down their questions. Make sure you put it in the chat and in the Q&A box. Right after Angel's presentation, we're going to get into the Q&A. This is a time, you have two experts here. So this is a time to make sure you get those questions in while they're on the call. And then you can also follow up afterwards, but you want to make sure they know your name so that when you do call or email, they pick up. All right. So Angel, you got the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I even start, I'd like to thank everyone that's attending today's workshop. Also, I'd like to thank Gina Ortella for her great work that she's done in putting together this orientation, this workshop. And also, Matthew, thank you for inviting Prospera and myself to the presentation today. And with that, we're going to go move right into the financial section of the financial elements of a business plan. And by the way, I have to admit, Cassandra, very well presented. I think it was an excellent presentation on your end. And we're going to kind of take over where you kind of left off. So before we start, I would like to, for those that are not familiar with Prospera, Prospera's mission essentially is to help start, sustain, and grow Hispanic-owned businesses to achieve community prosperity. Next. These are some of our South Florida investors, as well as partners. As you can see, we did partner with MDCC and FIU as well. This is just a little overview of some of our annual investors. Thank you. Next. So I'd just like to kind of go over really quick what Prospera services and resources provide. We have business seminars in Spanish. We have orientations, which provide entrepreneurs with financial and other considerations. We have workshops too, which are a little bit more in depth to sort of different topics. We also have the business consulting one-on-one, which we do on a daily basis. Prospera provides individual consulting, and topics such as taxes, loans, minority certification, feasibility studies, as we mentioned, business plans and access to capital, among others. Also, we do the business management services. These, so you know, these are professional services that are paid by Prospera through our network of local providers. Prospera subcontracts for such of brands such as legal assessment. We have also accounting assessment. We have branding, marketing and sales plans, and we have also business plans. And finally, we do the access to capital. Essentially, just to tell you a little bit about me, I have over 30 years in, I basically have my career in banking and finance. I basically left the industry back in 2010 and decided that I wanted to work with, to really give back to the community, to really give back to the people that really need it, and started working with Prospera. So one of my fortes, so to speak, is the access to capital piece. we do the initial underwriting here to determine where we can place those clients, and basically it works excellent because we don't waste our clients' time. We don't waste the bank's time, and it's the whole process is much easier, much smoother. And we work with a lot of partners and sponsors, which are mostly banks and financial institutions and other and CDFIs as well. So that's essentially what Prospera services are. And next. So just want to go over the agenda of what we are going to be covering today briefly. And I try to put it in a basic business plan, business in a basic business matter in which you can actually, it's easy to understand, because we can get complicated and we can go in too deep, and I rather just go over them one by one, so you know exactly what's needed in the financial part of a business plan. The financial section of your business plan is essential to securing investors and determining whether your idea is even viable. So we're going to go over the income statement. We're going to go over the cash flow and the other profit and loss statements. And so can you move it up a little bit? I wanted to go over the agenda. Thank you. So these are the statements that I wanted to, we're basically going to be looking over today. First of all, the income statement, the cash flow statement, the balance sheet, and break-even analysis, which is important, and business budget, as well as sales forecast, or also known as projections. Next. And we're going to start with the business, with the income statement. Essentially, it's very simple. The income statement, or better well known as profit and loss statement, essentially identifies your business revenue, which is your profit, and your expenses, which are your losses. And these are the ones that need to be included in a profit and loss statement. Your revenue, number one. What are your total sales, which include money, whether money gained from selling a product or selling property or selling equipment. Number two, your expenditures, which is essentially your total expenses. The next one is your cost of goods sold, or also named COGS, which is essentially the cost of making a product, including the material and the time invested. And finally, you have the gross margin, which is essentially just the revenue minus the cost of goods sold. And finally, the profit, which is revenue minus all your expenses, just whatever came in minus you subtract whatever your expenses are, and that should give you a negative or a positive profit. Next. Cash flow statement. And before I continue, I'd like to mention that the business plan essentially is what word can I use? It's essentially like a blueprint on how to run your business, how to run your company. The financial section, it's actually key to making it happen. The finance section of your business plan, it's essential to determining whether your idea is even viable at the long term. It's also necessary to convince, and not so much convince, but to show the investors the viability and subsequently secure the type of funding that you need to grow that business. So as you can see, business financials are a very important part of the business plan. And like I said here, the cash flow statement is simply, it shows the amount of money coming into your business and going out. Simply put, you need to make sure you include each cost incurred, including any operating activities, amount earned, it could be expenses, and normally we do this on a day-to-day operations of your business. And usually a cash flow statement, there will be three categories. And number one, the operating activities, like I mentioned, the day-to-day operations. Two, the investment activities, any investment that you've done for that day or for that week, that must be included in there. And 3, the financing activities. If you've done any businesses with banks or you finance any other products during that week or during that day, you must include that as well. Next. Let's go to the balance sheet. The balance sheet essentially provides a snapshot of your business overall financial health. This is something that when you go into use it in your business plan, it's important to have. The banks will normally look at not only your profit and loss statement, not only your cash flow statement, but they will look at the balance sheet as well. And essentially, it allows the business owner to keep track of your earnings and expenses. A balance sheet provides essentially includes what your business owns. 2 things, actually 3 factors that must be taken into consideration in a balance sheet. Number 1, your assets. What are your assets? Assets is anything that you own in the business, okay, which is simply put, versus what in liabilities, which is anything that your business owns or owes. Excuse me, anything that your business owes, as well known as your current equity, which is what the business worth, which will be the difference. Okay, so on the asset side of a balance sheet, you will have 3 subsections. I believe if I'm correctly. You'll have your current assets, you have your fixed assets, and you have other assets. The current assets include any cash or cash equivalent of value, while fixed assets refer to long-term investments like equipment, building. In other words, any assets that do not fall within these categories, such as patents and copyrights, can be classified as other assets. So keep that in mind. On the liability side, on the liability side of your balance sheet, you included total what your business owes. So anything that's a liability, it's anything that your business owes at the moment. These can be broken down into essentially 2 parts. Actually more, but you can, to make it basic, you can actually break it down into 2 parts. Current liabilities, which are essentially the amounts to be paid within a 12 months or within a year, and a long-term liability, which is amounts due for longer than a year, which does include, it can include the mortgages and employee benefits as well. Once we have calculated your assets and liabilities, then we can go ahead and move forward to determine the net worth of your business, also known as equity or net worth. It can be used interchangeably. This can be calculated by subtracting what you owe, essentially from your assets, which is what you own. And that's essentially what it is. Next. Break-even analysis, or more commonly known as break-even point. And to simply put it, it's the point at which the total cost of the total revenue are equal. In other words, total cost of what you paid to total revenue of the business are equal, meaning there is no loss or gain. The business is at a break-even point at that point. So you're not gaining any profit, and you're not losing any profit. Okay, that sometimes it takes, I would say sometimes it takes years, believe it or not, to get to the break-even point, depending on the type of business, as if it's a product or service. But it's always good to include in your business plan a break-even point. And one of the benefits of our breaking point analysis, which I included yet in my PowerPoint, you can price smarter for one. You can also catch missing expenses, which has happened to me quite a few times. Set revenue targets, important as well. And you can make smarter decisions as to why is it that, the revenue is not where it needs to be, and look at the expenses and kind of do a review of your total expenses and see where you can be able to save or maybe cut down, find another suppliers or maybe national suppliers instead of local suppliers. It's just a way to measure your business in that sense. And also, obviously, to be able to fund your business, it's important. And again, a lot of information for everyone that's here today, that's meeting with us today, we can find the templates and the calculators for these in the www.sba website. All you have to do is access it, and you can ask for questions there. You can actually input your question as to what you're looking for, and it's all there. It's an excellent resource of information for small business owners, as well as small businesses, as well as large businesses that are starting up, as well businesses that have been in operating for some time. Next. The next one is a business budget. Very important to list your basic startup costs, and it's essentially a list of startup assets. So anything that you have acquired for the startup of the business, whether it is computers, whether it's furniture, even vehicles, property, all that you list as far as your as part of your assets in the business budget. Also, a business budget will list the startup expenses. Very important: fixed and variable expenses, rent, payroll, etc. Next. I included, can we go to the next one so they can see what I'm, okay, so I included a simple, very simple budget, and also not only a budget, but this is a 6-month projection sample, which we can provide you if you need to. So it's very simple. On the top, as you can see, the income, you have sales, and you have gain or losses for the prior month. So that's essentially just make sure you include that in there, because that's gonna give you the base for your total income. And it's just simply income, and you list all your expenses. Obviously, under that, you're gonna have your total expenditures. Move it up a little bit more, and then you're gonna have your plus or minuses, your profit for that month. And as well, you can do your sales projections. And in this particular template, we have only 6 months, but we can go 12 months. You can do projections, a year, 2 years, and basically that would kind of give you. And then depending, I mean, it varies so much as far as projections is concerned. Because depending on the type of business you have, depending on if it's a service or it's a product, and to be able to get projections, you need to do a market study. So we can say we can look at trends, and we can look at price points, so we can determine what projections, how we can project either percentage or dollar amount on a monthly basis. For example, in construction, projections in construction can they can, from month to month or year to year, they can move from anywhere from 5% to 15%. It all depends on the type of industry. It all depends on the type of product or the type of services your business operates with. Okay. Can we go up a little bit? I just want to one page up. Thank you. So this is essentially, I wanted to show the actual template that we have, that we use, so they can have a visual kind of reference. So to start up the businesses, it's a little bit more difficult and challenging, I would say, to make a forecast sales, because obviously we don't have that much numbers to based on, but it can still be done with the right market study. Okay. So based on that, these basically all the reports that we mentioned in the financial side of the business plan, it's what we should use, or we would need to use to put together projection, the cash flow statement, the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, the break even, and finally the sales assumption based on the industry market study. Next. And basically, I think I didn't want to go too much into formulas, and I wanted to make it something more simple for everyone to understand. You can call us. You can call us. We can go ahead and make an appointment with our consultants here in our office. We've been Prospera has been around for 30 years. Helping small business owners, and we have a great team of consultants here in our office, in the South Florida office. And also worth mentioning, Prospera is in its growth stage this year. We will be opening 2 additional offices in Florida. We have the initial Florida that opened 30 years ago, which is in Tampa. And we also have our headquarters in an additional consulting office in Orlando. Besides that, we're opening up 2 new offices, one in Jacksonville and another one in Palm Beach County. So as you can see, we want to really get to those communities that really need it the most. Prospera is it's an organization where we really love what we do as employees here. It's a labor of love, and you have to love what you do. It's very important, and we do. We try to give you 110%. We try to help you, give you the tools, give you the information, give you the financial or technical assistance that you need to grow your business. It's an excellent organization, and please feel free to contact our organization. There is our number. That's our South Florida region, which is this office where I work from. And you can also please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the platforms. We're there. So feel free to get in contact with us. And it's been great to be able to share some information. Hopefully we have some questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Angela. See, finances, man, they are critical to understanding business. A lot of people don't want to go into that, but the financial aspects are everything, especially if you're trying to access capital. But just knowing your numbers as a business owner is so important. So I want to thank you again as a business owners for being here, to listening. I hope you have questions ready. You can use the Q&A. We have both Angel and Cassandra on to answer these questions. So
thank you, Matthew.
All right, thank you. All right, so first questions we have from, I don't know if it's Jorge or George. We have, can anyone do a quick comparison of a business model versus business plan to help with any misconceptions? So what's the difference between a business model and a business plan?
So your business, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cassandra, go ahead.
Angel, you gonna clean anything else up?
Sure. So your business model, sorry, focuses on the profit-making part of your plan. How do you plan to make profit? The services that you will sell in your target market, it's solely focused on your plan to be profitable in this business. And your business plan, this is the organization's goals and the strategies to meet those goals. It's not just focus on the actual profitability, but also on your team, on your culture. So that's pretty much the difference in a very quick way to explain it. You want to write your model first because you want to know how you're going to become profitable. And then from that, you can breathe life into your business plan.
That was very well said. I like that.
Yeah.
Angel, you got anything to add?
No, basically Cassandra took over that one. Excellent explanation. That's exactly right.
Awesome. All right. So our next question. On the financial section, is it common to list assets such as property, farm, or even list the money and statements and balance statement from a bank account? Or is that not really included?
Well, and they said on a balance sheet.
Yeah, so on the financial section, is it common to list like your assets, the property that you have, even like money that you have in the bank, from a bank account? Do you actually list that on the financial section of a business plan?
Absolutely. That is part of the financials. And that's part of what we require to put together a business plan. It's important to make sure you show all your assets, and part of your assets is cash. Cash is an asset. So it's important to show that. Absolutely. To answer that question.
Awesome, thank you. And for those that have questions, please put your questions in the Q&A box, or in the Q&A box so that we can answer them.
Yeah, there's
So-
another question coming from Charles. His question is that if a business has a little financial history because they're starting out, what should they include to make up for that? Forecasts. They sell food product via e-commerce. So basically, they just started up and don't have enough financial history yet.
Okay, so essentially the business, more than ever, they would need a business plan, I would think, to see where they're going and see how we can help them. Again, we have startups that need a business plan, kind of put it all together and see, and basically give them projections as to how the business is gonna move forward. But if they're doing it online, it's a little bit different. I think that would be more of a marketing strategy at this point, to be able to kind of see where they're going. So it's a little bit difficult because they're starting up, but it doesn't mean that, I just kind of see what the pricing is, or how they're pricing where's the price, where the margins are, and other factors that need to be considered, including, like I mentioned, the marketing part of it, which is important to start moving it, start moving the sales quicker.
If I could just piggyback on what Angel just said, Charles, you're asking the question at the right time. If you're a startup business, this is when you want to look into those financials. You might not have a history, but you will have one in the future. You do have, as Charles was saying, your projections that you're going to need to come through. This is where those assumptions that we mentioned become very important. You want to know what your business model is. So how will I become profitable? What will make me profitable? That's a financial question. What will my expenses look like? In order to sell my food product. You're selling a product, is there going to be packaging? How are you going to advertise? It's e-commerce, there's a cost to that. So there are financials that are going to come into play, and you want to identify what those are upfront, and use those also to create what your startup is going to look like, and then project for what your next year or 2 years down the line will look like. Because you will have, even as a startup, you will have expenses. You will register the company with a basic one. You register the company with Sunbiz, there's a cost. It costs you money to register that company, so there are costs to start up a business. Write them down. What do they look like? And then where am I hoping to get to what those costs are going to look like. If I'm selling, if I'm looking to sell a product via e-commerce, I'm looking to sell to 100 customers. What does that look like? What is the return that I'm expecting? How much will I sell each product for? So those are the questions that you're going to dig into right now in order to create to answer that question.
Very good, Cassandra. And just to add to that, I think I get a lot of clients coming in to our office without any cash to start. You need some type of startup capital to be able to invest into the business to start to begin with. So that's important that they know that what the banks call skin in the game, as we all know. You have to have some. You just can't, start something from zero. And although it sounds like logical, but it's something that I think I get a lot in this office and when we consult. So how do I start? And I said, well, do you have the funds to start the business? Well, not really. I was here to come see if we can get access to capital. I said, but even when you get access to capital, you have to have a startup, whether it's $10,000, it's $5,000, just to buy the product that you need to resell. Whether it's a service, you need the initial capital to start the business. So I think that's another point that I wanted to add as well.
So we call that having some skin in the game. Investors and people lending you money want to see that you're committed and you have put some of your own commitment that you're willing to lose, or you're willing to invest. You are showing that I am willing to risk as well, so you can take a risk on me.
That's correct.
Very true. And this starting off a business, you really want to plan. A lot of businesses don't make it past year 3, and a lot of them are single companies, and they don't generate enough income for their owners to live on. So when you take that chance to be in the business, you have to really save up enough capital or manage your finances where you can't expect your business to provide you with the income or someone else. Like, you have to build, like, you want to make sure that you are building a solid business plan where you can generate revenue. And that's why here at the Miami-Dade Chamber, we always focus on make your dollar first. Know that it is a viable business that you can do, that you love to do, that you can enjoy doing, and that it can bring in some income first. And then we can talk to you about scaling it and all the other things that you got to do to make sure that your business has that infrastructure to access capital, government contracts, and all those other things that can help you scale. But you have to make the dollar first before you ask others.
That's right. That's the point.
All right. So we do have one final question in the chat. I see, as business consulting companies, are you able to help with connecting us to local reputable manufacturers? Any of y'all do that?
We really do not. We try to, if there's a client that might, and I like to answer that because, as a matter of fact, I had a client yesterday in my office that essentially came for us to see if we can help her network. We can help her network with other organizations, obviously, but actually, it's not so much in the manufacturing area. We don't really have that many clients in that area. Very few, maybe 1%. So I was able to kind of refer her to several other organizations that might be able to help her in that sense, but Prospera does not.
So I'll start by saying this, Charles. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I hope I answer his question. Cassandra, if you have an input, be able to help him.
Yeah, I'll start by saying this, Charles. One of the key things, and you'll see it with this group here, one of the key things in business is creating your network. And that's why we're able to tap with each other and do things like this. So with Miami-Dade and partnership with Prospera and myself. So all of us within our businesses have our networks and we're able to refer to each other and lean on each other. Why am I saying this? It's a great thing for businesses to adapt. It's a great principle to build your network of companies and build those strategic alliances that you can refer into and out of. Now, with that being said, a manufacturing company is not someone we have at strategic management in our networking group. I would encourage you to do some research. It is something that obviously, if a client, for example, Charles, you had reached out to us, and this is not somebody that we have ideally in our network, we would do things like this. We'd reach out, hey, Matthew, hey, Gina, do you have somebody? Hey, Angel, do you have somebody? Hey, whoever is in our network, do you have someone? So that door is also open, but I'm going to also encourage you to do your, I'm sure you have done this, do your dig in and research of the companies that are there. Go look at the reviews on them, do your pros and cons, on your own little spreadsheet paper. And if you don't have a good referral or can get a referral from someone, then that becomes like your best next option.
Yeah, so Charles, I kind of echo their sentiments. Currently, right now, we do not have manufacturing in our network as a organization of businesses. However, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to us to do some one-on-one technical assistance. We will walk you through the process that Cassandra said to really help you think through what are those manufacturers in your area, help you identify them. We can also assist you in identifying organizations, because a lot of these manufacturing companies, they participate, many of the reputable ones participate in different organizations, associations, conferences, and events within their industry. And that's a really good way to find some of the best manufacturers. And you want to do that as that's your business. You want to be at those conferences, those events, and those associations so that you can build your network that Angel and Cassandra are talking about. That's what we're here for. So we can help you with that. And I want to talk to you a little bit about our program and how you can connect with us. So first, I want to thank Angel and Cassandra for joining us today. We really appreciate Prospera and Strategic Management Consultant for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us. It was an amazing time.
So do you have any closing remarks? We'll start off with Angel.
Basically, I want to thank you, MDCC, Matthew, and I want to thank also Gina for inviting Prospera. And I just want to say that we're here to support, to provide the support and the help needed for small business owners. I know that we've been through 2 hard, difficult years. And it feels like it's been 5 years, to tell you the truth, through COVID. And I know that we had a lot of business that went through a lot of difficulty. They've been resilient, and just want to mention that we're here to help them, to provide the tools, to provide the education, the technical assistance, to kind of help them through these difficult times. And they continue to be at difficult times. But we're here, and I just wanted to mention that. Please give us a call and let us help you. Again, thank you, Matthew, for inviting me in Prospera.
Thank you, Angel, and the whole Prospera team that supports you and the efforts that you do, and for being a resource for the Hispanic business owners in South Florida. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm Cassandra, a strategic management consultant.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to thank you again, Matthew and Gina, and the Miami-Dade group for inviting me to be part of this program. It was really great sharing this time also with Angel. Again, strategic management focuses on small to medium-sized businesses, and there's a reason why we do that. Our passion is to help these businesses. 95% 96% of the businesses in the United States is made up of or small to medium-sized businesses, and we want to see these succeed. There's so much resources out there, and we want to be able to be one of those resources, and also point you to those resources that you might not be aware of. Our drive and our goal is for every single client to succeed in the business that they have, whether it was a dream that you had or a business that you took over, or just something that dwelled up inside of you and you want to make into something that is successful. Our desire is to be that arm that walks side by side with you into success. So we are always here for you, whatever your needs are. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cassandra. Cassandra is one of our all-star members here at the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, giving us one of our business support systems. So this is one of the benefits of being a part of a chamber, is that you have professionals like this you can reach out to and connect with. So I want to thank you, Cassandra, for being a member and for taking the time out of your busy schedule for putting on this workshop and helping so many of the people I sent to you. I was just telling someone, I was like, whenever I send somebody to Cassandra, it always gets taken care of. So thank you very much, Cassandra. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right. So
Great meeting you, Cassandra, by the way. I'm sorry, Matthew. Just wanted to say thank you. It was great meeting you as well.
Same here, Angel. It's been awesome.
Exactly. I know Prospera, and Prospera is similar to us, in which we may not have all the resources to assist business owners within our organization. So we have referral partners, and Prospera, we hope you bring on Cassandra as one of those referral partners.
Absolutely. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so let's quickly go back. I wanted to just close us out. As I said, we do have a technical assistance program here at the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. If you go into the chat, you will see I'm putting in a link that you can sign up to our Community Navigators program with FIU and the SBDC Center. Please use that link to register for our program. We also have a program with Miami-Dade County, CareerSource, which also supports these workshops that we do, where we provide one-on-one technical assistance. So it's one thing to hear this information on a workshop. It's another thing to actually do it. And sometimes you're going to run into questions when you do it. We're the ones to help you put this information into practice and connect you with more resources. So just sign up. I would encourage everyone to sign up so that we have your information in. So whenever you need us, we're there and available for you. That's what this network is about. These workshops, I'll say, are just one of many that we do. We have 10 workshops we got scheduled out for this year. This is our third one. We're going to be talking about learning about contracts. We already talked about accounting. So these are some of the ones we did in the past. But if you ever just want to jump in and just meet with other business owners to network, practice your pitch, find out about different topics, I would strongly encourage you to join our small business meetup every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. It is completely open to the public. You do not have to be a member of the chamber. Actually, majority of these resources I'm talking about, you do not have to be a member of the chamber. You can take advantage of. So join that Tuesday, 4 o'clock. We done had people such as the national director of the Comcast Rise grant come on, the director of Miami International Airport. We talk about, as business owners, how do you deal with disgruntled employees. We do monthly or quarterly check-ins on where you are, what are some accomplishments and challenges. So you have other networks. So join us every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. You can go to our website, m-dcc.org, and sign in. That link will be in the chat too on our events page, so that you can have that information of what's coming up and you can join us. So just look out for in the chat. I'm putting that in now. All right. Also, we have a tech event coming up May 20th. This is our annual business symposium and business leaders luncheon. As you know, Miami is becoming one of the tech capitals of the world, crypto and all that. and it's led by Miami-Dade, Miami Mayor, City of Miami Mayor Suarez. And we're doing these events to make sure that we're in the know about what's going on when it comes to tech. For those that are in the South, we have a membership lunch coming up for if you're interested in being a part of the chamber and want to take advantage, join us on Wednesday, the 27th for that meeting. And also we have our Little Black Dress and Pearls, which is basically the who's who of women in business and government coming up July 30th. These are all opportunities where you can come in and join and assist us. We're here as a resource outside of that. So you could always go to the MiamiBusinessNavigator.com, call the number, use that link, and whatever you need, make sure that you reach out. We are here to support you and we want to help you. But you have to come to us. Just come to us. Pick up the phone, come to us, and we'll take it from there. Business owners have their ups and downs, but as long as you reach out and you come, we'll help you wherever you are. And that's what we do as people of this support services. So again, we all thank you for joining us. And on behalf of our organization, our president, Eric Knowles, our VP of Finance, Beverly James, Gina Ortella, our program manager for the Community Navigator Program, and also Paris Ward, who is our executive assistant organizer. We thank you for joining us today for our Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank Prospera Strategic Management Consultant for joining us today. So again, everyone, thank you very much, and everyone take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your week.
Take care.